Okay, y'all, we need to talk about Cheyanne Bryant because social media has been going in on her lately. A lot of people are questioning her claims about having 3 doctorate degrees, and the controversy keeps getting bigger after a recent interview clip started circulating online. According to critics, people have been asking for proof of these degrees, like graduation photos, transcripts, or any official records. But so far, nothing has been shown publicly. Cheyanne's response has basically been that she doesn't feel obligated to prove herself to anyone, and that answer has only added more fuel to the conversation online.
Right? I have multiple degrees, and my thing is that my proof isn't something that I have to prove to individuals. My proof is already within my credentials, my degrees, and also more than just my titles, it's in how effective I've been.
So at this point, no.
At this point, a lot of people online are questioning whether Cheyanne is really a doctor. Recently, she appeared on the Dear Future Wifey podcast, where she spoke about her background and claimed she achieved several major accomplishments at a young age. According to her, she was taking 26 college credit hours each semester while also managing a mobile legal business. She also said she purchased her first home in Long Beach at just 19 years old, owned 3 retail stores on Melrose, and launched a luxury handbag brand called Cheyenne Nicole Bags. Cheyanne stated that the handbags sold in her stores were manufactured in Italy, but many viewers have been skeptical about some of the claims she made. Take a listen to what she had to say.
I was in school with 26 units a semester. I was running an entire mobile legal company that I owned. So I was moving and shaking. And
at 21 years old, you were doing that?
21, I bought my first house at 19 years old.
What?
Bought my
in
first
LA?
house at 19 in the city of Long Beach, in North Long Beach.
Let's go.
I bought a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house and then built a whole loft in the backyard and rented the whole thing out and moved in with him. Closer to my retail store that I had. I had 3 retail stores on Melrose. You know Melrose?
Yes.
Yeah, 3 retail stores. I have to brag about this, y'all. I was the first, because I loved it.
Yes.
I was the first and youngest Black woman to ever own a store on Melrose. It was a French owner. First, because I loved it.
Yes.
I was the first and youngest Black woman to ever own a store on Melrose. It was a French owner, and he said, "How old are you?" "I'm not renting to you." "Absolutely not."
What?
And I said, "Well, because I already own my house, right?" I got me a line of credit, baby, HELOC. I said, "Well, listen." I said, "What if I gave you 6 months up of rent?" He said, "I don't trust you. You're too young." I said, "I'll pay it up for a year." He said, "Deal." Sign the paper. And then he actually rented me my other 2 stores that he owned. He's like, "Oh, no." At that point, he was like, "No problem."
I trust you
so
now.
I owned 3, and I was literally the youngest and the first Black woman to ever own a store.
You doing what at that store? You selling what?
I was selling. I had my own designer luggage and designer purses and bags. It was called Cheyenne Nicole, which is my first and middle name. And I had this factory that was in Italy called Raviani, and he made all my bags: cowhide, alligator,
You was
snakeskin.
19?
Hold on.
To be fair, some parts of Cheyanne's story are definitely believable on their own. Taking 26 college credits in one semester is possible at certain schools, but usually it requires special approval and proof that the student can handle the workload. Buying a home at a young age is possible too. Running a business while in school, also doable. But the reason so many people are questioning her now is because of how many major accomplishments she claims happened all at the same time. According to her story, she was balancing extremely heavy college coursework, running businesses, helping cover bills, owning property, becoming a landlord after renovating her backyard into lofts, operating multiple stores on Melrose, and designing luxury handbags made overseas, all while being around 19 to 21 years old. Because of those claims, people started asking for evidence. I looked into some of it myself to try to be objective, and honestly, I couldn't find much backing up the business side of the story. I couldn't locate any clear records connected to the handbag brand she mentioned, and I also couldn't find proof tied to the Melrose stores. Considering how popular Melrose was in the early 2000s, many people feel there would likely be at least some photos, articles, listings, or online traces if those businesses existed the way they were described. Another claim that raised eyebrows was her saying she was the first and youngest Black woman to own a store on Melrose. From what I could find, there were Black women connected to businesses in that area before the time period she mentioned, which caused even more skepticism online. Now, that doesn't automatically mean every single thing she said is false. Nobody online has access to her private documents, records, or personal paperwork. But at the same time, many people feel the lack of evidence makes the situation look questionable. This whole conversation really escalated after people started challenging her educational background and asking for proof of her degrees. Once the internet starts doubting one claim, people usually begin re-examining everything else connected to that person too. Now, we already know Cheyenne's response will probably be the same thing she said before, that she doesn't owe anybody proof of anything. But a lot of people online just aren't convinced, especially with so many unanswered questions still floating around. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Are y'all buying this story? Do y'all think Cheyanne is telling the truth? Do y'all feel like she doesn't have to prove anything to anybody? Or do you understand why people are suspicious? Y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. That's all I got for y'all, and I'll talk to y'all later.
Brian is lying about getting a PhD. It's just a PhD. Anybody can get a PhD. You're not all of that because you have a PhD. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Just don't get it because you didn't get that far. That's why you don't get it. Because you didn't get that far. You see, I'm not coming from the standpoint of, oh, I'm so elitist, I'm better than you because I hold multiple degrees. I'm working on my 4th degree, which is a master's of physics, because it is. And I'm also not a therapist, so I won't be able to tell you all the doors that will be able to open for you once you get your PhD. But what I do know is that we already live in a world where people assume that we are not qualified enough to be in the room.
The timing is just really interesting because around the same time people are heavily questioning your credibility, qualifications, ethics, professionalism, and transparency. Your caption is "Y'all still talking with you in a bikini?" In podcast interviews, you're talking about being gorgeous and having a nice body and how men want you, women want you, and you're not answering the question. It feels strategically distracting. Almost as if she's trying to prove her point from that podcast that, well, I'm gorgeous, I can do whatever I want. Rather than rebuilding trust through transparency, clarification, accountability, professionalism, or like any evidence, the energy has totally shifted towards her image and her look. People are beginning to realize that this conversation is bigger than whether or not she has a degree. People are now questioning her overall quality as a coach, teacher, doctor, or whatever, as a public figure in general. Her behavior is hella concerning across multiple videos, not disrespectful. Why can anybody else speak? She cuts people off constantly, she dominates conversations, she talks over people, and not because she's being silenced, just in general. She gets totally agitated when she's being challenged, and also she's like shooting shots at the host here. Dancing around a word that she clearly seems to want to use is what it felt like to me. And I would not expect somebody with extensive psychological training and emotional regulation skills that she's trying to teach y'all, or clinical professionalism, to like behave like this.